And gosh, the title. So please tell us, how did you land on governing forests?
It's actually, I want to say that the title in some ways has been both inspired and in some ways kind of stolen.
Please tell us.
Yeah, so Eleanor Ostrom has a book called Governing Commons,
Yeah.
which was incredibly inspiring for me and my work, because what she does is she takes on the Garrett Hardin story of the tragedy of commons
Yeah.
and crumbles it to the ground.
Wow.
She says that it's not entirely true. Commons, when communities have a stake in them and they're dependent on them, they can govern it through a shared process.
Absolutely.
And that kind of held a lot of my work in forest areas, because I'd always encounter this idea of exclusionary conservation, where for an area to be maintained or managed, it has to be devoid of people. What happens when communities live and depend on these lands for generations, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of one source of inspiration.
Absolutely.
The second was when I interviewed a lot of lawyers, non-lawyers, activists who are working on one of the key legislations that this book talks about, which is the Forest Rights Act. They would always say it's a forest governance question, you know? So they would like think about the law, policy, custom, you know, cultural sources of the law. All of it was kind of folded into this idea of forest governance.
Wow.
And so that was kind of like a key understanding for me and a point of departure where I was like, okay, we're talking about governing our forests.
Right.
And we're not talking about merely the law or merely policy.
It's a completely new way of thinking of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.